Every single day, the construction industry is out there orchestrating this crazy, high-stakes balancing act. I mean, you've got millions of dollars, incredibly tight timelines, and most importantly, human lives all intersecting at once. So let's just dive right into this explainer and see exactly how these massive megaprojects are actually managed, and how they're kept from going completely off the rails.
You might look up at a towering skyscraper or maybe a sprawling suspension bridge and just wonder, how on earth do they actually pull that off? So let's start by asking what exactly defines a successful build? Like, what actually separates a project that makes history from, well, one that ends up in court?
Because when a project fails, the fallout is absolutely severe. We're talking staggering budget overruns, crippling delays, totally subpar quality, or, worst of all, catastrophic job site injuries. These aren't just your everyday minor hiccups, right? These are massive systemic failures that can literally derail the entire operation overnight.
Moving on to Section 1, Beyond the Iron Triangle, Evolving How We Measure a Successful Build. For years, academia basically viewed project management through this lens of the iron triangle. The idea is that pulling on one edge inherently strains the others. You've probably heard the old saying, right? Fast, cheap, or good. Pick two. If you want the project finished faster, well, it's going to cost a lot more money or the quality is just going to drop. It's a very rigid, kind of geometric way of thinking about project constraints. But to combat those early pitfalls, the industry actually went through a major paradigm shift. They moved from that basic triangle to a controls diamond. How? By adding a really crucial fourth side, safety. And eventually, this evolved into the controls house. Because, let's be real, delivering a pristine building on time and under budget means absolutely nothing if someone gets hurt. The diamond is a super strong shape, but when you rest it on a foundation of solid documentation and communication, it becomes this controls house, a truly modern, holistic framework for success. All right, Section 2, the Great Balancing Act, navigating the tension between money, time, and quality. Imagine you are, say, 3 weeks behind schedule because of some terrible weather. You suddenly face a massive trade-off. Do you rush the job to compress the schedule, or do you just accept the financial hit to maintain your quality standards? See, compressing the schedule isn't as simple as just telling everyone to work faster. It usually forces you into excessive overtime, dealing with exhausted workers whose productivity just totally plummets, and honestly, a much higher chance of making critical mistakes. It really goes to show that throwing money at a delayed schedule proves time and cost are just inextricably linked. Think about the standard remedies here. You might pay for air freight, sure, but your material delivery costs are going to skyrocket. Or you might run double shifts, but then you're paying premium wages for, frankly, less efficient workers. Every single strategy out there to recover lost time requires a direct and usually pretty painful financial sacrifice. And here's the thing. Sacrificing quality to save time, it's a total false economy. Because tearing out bad work means the contractor absorbs all the financial and schedule penalties. Like if you rush a concrete pour and it fails inspection, man, you don't just lose the cost of that bad concrete. You lose the time it takes to demolish it, the cost to clean the whole mess up, and the cost to repour it. And trust me, the project owner is definitely not granting you extra days for your own mistakes. You simply have to do it right the first time. Which brings us to Section 3, the unbreakable rule of safety, the non-negotiable fourth pillar of construction. 0. That is literally the only acceptable number of fatalities on a job site. A project could be completed perfectly on time, way under budget, and it is still an absolute failure if someone is seriously injured. In the construction industry today, 0 isn't just some hopeful goal, It is a strict, undeniable requirement. This really powerful industry mandate proves that while time, money, and quality are, well, highly flexible and negotiable, human lives are absolutely not. A project manager might decide to completely blow the budget just to save the schedule, but they can never, under any circumstances, cut a safety corner to save $1 or a day. No way. And beyond the obvious, paramount obligation to just protect workers, accidents trigger this catastrophic cascade of delays, legal expenses, and completely plummeting morale. Even from a purely operational standpoint, safety infractions just drain a project. When an accident occurs, work stops entirely. You're suddenly facing investigations, ruined materials, soaring workers' comp rates, and a workforce that is understandably really shaken up. So when you think about it, safety control is actually the ultimate form of schedule and cost control. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Building a Successful Project, How Master Jugglers Orchestrate the Final Outcome.
I like to think of project success kind of like a physical structure itself. The roof is supported equally by the pillars of cost, safety, quality, and time. And all of that is resting on a bedrock foundation of solid organization and communication. And it's crucial that those pillars hold equal weight. Because if you neglect quality just to focus entirely on the schedule, well, that pillar crumbles and the whole roof caves in. And without that strong foundation of clear document control between the architects, contractors, and owners, those pillars literally have nothing to stand on.
So true project success can really only be achieved through a perfectly balanced performance across all 4 of these dimensions simultaneously. Project managers are kind of like master conductors. They know they aren't going to hit every single activity perfectly on schedule and exactly on budget every single day. That's just impossible. Some things are going to be late, some will be early. The real goal is managing those variances, keeping the project on the road, and keeping these 4 metrics in total harmony over the entire lifespan of a massive multi-year build. Now, to maintain that harmony without ever crossing that ethical line of safety we talked about, project teams rigorously rely on a 6-step risk management process. From day one, they aren't just reacting to problems. They're proactively identifying potential weather delays, they're transferring risk through really smart contracts, and they're constantly monitoring progress to tame the inherent chaos of a job site. Basically, they eliminate what they can, they mitigate what they have to accept, and they measure absolutely everything. It really is this immense, careful balancing act of time, money, and quality, all bound together by an uncompromising commitment to human life. So, the next time you walk past a massive skyscraper going up in your city, I want you to ask yourself, what precise, high-stakes trade-offs were made to safely bring that building to life?